Hey everyone, Besmir here, and in the previous video I showed you how to connect the LanderLab MCP to Claude. Once connected, it allows you to talk to LanderLab in natural language and ask it things like check the stats for a specific landing page, create a new variation by tweaking the headline, etc. etc. However, this is just scratching the surface. The MCP gets really powerful in two specific scenarios. First, making different tools working together as part of a flow. What does it mean? So for example, let's say you want to create 4 landing pages in LanderLab automatically, and you want to connect these automatically to Cloudflare. So all these landing pages, once created, they can be added automatically as Cloudflare landing pages that you can track later on. The second one is bulk actions. If there is repetitive work that would waste your time, the MCP can automate it and basically save a lot of time. So let me dive deeper into the second point. I'll show here 4 scenarios where bulk actions are really useful by using the MCP. The first one is smart localization. What does it mean? Let's say you have a landing page for, I don't know, like a skincare offer in English, and it's been converting really well. And now you want to scale it to different geos. So in this case, by using the MCP, you can automate the whole process. The old way, you just copy the landing page 4 times and then manually change the copy, the tracking script, etc. With the MCP, you can do it automatically first, but what is even nicer is the fact that you can not just translate it, but localize it, which means that it will do a smart translation by using local idioms, by changing the currency to match that of the language, and so on. And this is the example that I will show you after this slide. I'll show you from the beginning to the end how to do it. The second one is bulk editing elements. So let's say you have 10 different landing pages, and in these landing pages you have a specific Facebook pixel. If that changes, instead of changing it manually one by one, you can just write to the MCP. Change this Facebook pixel to the new one, and you can paste the code, and it will change it automatically across 10 or more landing pages. The third one, which is also an interesting scenario, is the auto-cloning. Let's say that you go to a spy tool and find 5 interesting landing pages that you want to split test. Instead of importing them one by one to LanderLab manually and then cleaning for malicious code and tracking pixels from the person that was running it, you can just tell the MCP, here is a list of 4 URLs, import this to LanderLab, remove any malicious code if any, and remove any tracking pixels. Once done, add them to my Cloudflare tracker as landing pages and add the Cloudflare tracking script. So basically, it saves you a lot of time. Instead of doing all this work manually, just give it to the MCP and in a few minutes it will be done. And the last one, which is also very interesting, is using the MCP to build research-driven landing pages. So I'll give you an example. If you're running a hair loss offer and you need to create some new landing pages, basically you could tell it to go on Reddit and search for specific discussions where people are talking about their pain points about hair loss and spin 4 different variations, each using like a hook that matches one of these pain points. So all of these are possible, but in this video I will show you number 1, which is the smart localization. Here, I will show you how we can translate or localize a page that we have in English in 3 languages, in German, in Spanish, and in Italian. We need to note that it will not just translate word for word, but it will localize, so it will match everything to the local language. So it will match the idioms, it will match, I don't know, for example, like their currency, their measuring system, etc. So let's get started and let's show how we can do it right away. As you can see, here I have a landing page for a solar offer, and it is in English And if you notice, it is catered to the US market. Like you can see things like dollars here, Inflation Reduction Act, etc. Now my goal is to create 3 more copies of this landing page, but one in German, one in Italian, and one in Spanish. And instead of doing this manually, I'll automate it by using the MCP. So let's go to Claude and give it this prompt. It says, using the LanderLab MCP, localize the solar advertorial landing page to Italian, German, and Spanish. Make sure to create them as separate lenders, not variants. Change just the text, not the images. So, one small explanation, I gave the instruction to create them as separate lenders, not variants, because as you know, LanderLab supports variants which you can A/B test, but in this case, we want separate landing pages. And another instructor, change just the text, not the images, because sometimes the AI gets really excited and changes also the images. With that said, let's run it and let's see what happens. All right, as you can see, it took a while to finish it because there were a lot of actions, but at the end it managed to create successfully 3 landing pages. I had to give a few confirmations along the way, but if you scroll down here, you will see that now we have these 3 landing pages created and published on my LanderLab account. So let's open them just to see how they look like. This is the Italian version. And if you see, it changed the currency in euros, and I'm sure a lot of the text also is changed to match the local culture and idioms. Same thing for Germany, and the same for Spanish. So, as you can see, we managed to automate something that we would have done manually by just giving a prompt to Claude and just letting it run. As I mentioned before, this was just one example and there are a lot of other use cases, but sky is the limit here. So after creating these 3 landing pages, I could tell the MCP to push them to Cloudflare, to install the Cloudflare tracking script, to create a campaign, and so on and so on. But the main idea is that you should leverage the MCP if you need to automate a lot of manual work or if you need to connect different tools together. Thanks for watching.